Now, y'all know I love McDonald's for a quick meal, especially if I'm out and about with the boys and need something to eat. I like food, and y'all know I like saving money too. Did you know that you can save money with deals in the McDonald's app every single day? Yeah, you heard that right. There's a deal every day in the app. So if you are an avid McDonald's goer like me, you'll find the best value for your buck by using the app. One of my favorite things about the app is the ability to order ahead. So let's say I'm on the road, just picked up Axel from school, and know I promised him some McDonald's fries on a Sunday, but don't want to have to wait in that long line. I open up the app and just place my order there. Then I can walk in and pick up my order when it's ready, no wait needed, especially if I time it right. And I love that you can also get a bunch of deals in the app as well. I just logged in and can get a free Big Mac with a minimum purchase of $1. But check it every day because the deals are always changing. Plus, make sure to share your birthday so McDonald's can celebrate with you with something special. Dream drivers save money with the McDonald's app. Nope, you must opt into rewards.
PenFed Free Checking offers zero fees and zero balance requirements for zero hassle. PenFed Access America Checking lets you earn money on your balance for dreams big and small. Choose the best account for you and start making the most of your money. Learn more at penfed.org. Federally insured by NCUA. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed Credit Union.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
All right, HBCU family, it's Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. I have with me Coach Daryl Steward. What's going on, Cole?
How you doing, Mr. Mosley? Man, what a day, what a day.
Man, it's supposed to be Friday. We're supposed to be ready to get to happy hour right now, Coach.
Yeah.
and so happy for a lot of people, especially on the Seven Hills. Right now, it's something that I told you I thought could be on the horizon, right? But it actually was announced earlier today that Dr. Larry Robinson of Florida A&M as the president, he will be planning to step down. It's a position that he's held for over 7 years. He's been involved with some great undertakings. They've won a national championship, the HBCU National Championship. They've won championships in sports under his leadership as well. But of course, they had the failed commencement speaker as well as the ruse about the over $200-300 million, whatever that was supposed to be given to them by the hemp farmer. But right now, it's going to be a change in leadership over at Florida A&M. Coach, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, Dr. Larry Robinson has done great things at FAMU, but, you know, it didn't end well with him. Made a big mistake in leadership. And you just got to do your due diligence, Kyle, in leadership, man. It's no quick fix. I know we do our show on head coaching a lot, but it falls under being a great president as well. You know, you got to make sure everything is in line with your strategic plan, and got to have your meetings, and you got to make sure each department is doing well. And so, you know, it's just a lot right now going on with our HBCU presidents, and let's just hope FAMU can replace him with another good candidate.
Yeah, finding a leader at a HBCU institution is not a easy undertaking, you know, especially a institution like Florida A&M, to be able to have that institution as the number one public HBCU for 5 consecutive years, being a part of the top 100 universities of its kind in the Florida area as well as all HBCUs. It's just not an easy thing to have a leader to be able to come in. But, you know, since, was it last season or season before last, they've been going through a lot of trials and tribulations over at Florida A&M, especially on the sports side, from not having some of their major football players being able to get on the field for the first game against North Carolina. That was a big debacle there. But this latest situation, also I forgot about. Remember, they had the rap video
Right.
on the campus as well, and having the situation now with that hemp farmer and having him to give the commencement address. I think that was possibly one of the biggest problems of Dr. Robinson's administration, who is a good man, number one. He's a good man.
Right.
And very committed to the institution, but at this time, he's going to turn over the reins to someone else to become the leader of Florida A&M.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough ride for Dr. Robinson. It's tough to find leaders at our institutions, but what do? You look at what's going on with the North Carolina Central situation. We talked about it on the Ralph Cooper show. Most of our institutions are looking for PhD people, and which is hard to find right now, mainly because of the price of PhDs. A lot of people are really not taking this under consideration, Mr. Mosley, when I think we really need to take that under consideration that, it's tough to ask a person to pay $25,000 to $30,000 for a PhD. Especially in the African American platform, and just for African Americans to have that on the side, it's hard to do, and I think that's affecting us. We always talk about it's a new generation. Some things are going to have to change because the turnover rate. Either we're going to find another platform to choose from, I think, when you look at President Tate at LSU being an African American, having 50,000 students and being one of the top presidents in the country. Okay, what is he doing as an African American? He really doesn't have a real. I mean, his salary, but it's not over $1 million. I think he's in the $700,000 to $800,000 range. Now, do we raise the salaries for presidents and HBCUs, or do we go on that corporate ladder and look at some of these big corporate sponsors that's sponsoring us and pull from it? But something's going to have to change because the business side of running an institution is just, you got to know what you're doing. And if you don't, with the lawyers and the legal part that's going on right now, and especially with sports, that's hurting most of our presidents. If you don't know this, then, it's gonna be a rough ride, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, Coach, I think you were being very conservative when it came down to the cost of a PhD. We're talking about you going into probably 100,000 range.
Right. Well, I do know from meeting with a couple people in the education platform that a lot of people want to get it, but the first thing they say is just too expensive. And I can remember 20 years ago, it was between 10 to 15,000, which is pretty much what you're going to probably have to go back to in our race because, we got a lot of schools. And if every school is requiring a PhD person, it's going to be tough, Mr. Mosley.
Well, let me tell you how Texas Southern got through what they needed to do to bring in President Crawford. They did not go the PhD route, but he has a Juris Doctorate, meaning he has a law degree. So right. That might be one of the ways to be able to circumvent having someone as an educational PhD or something to that nature, and to be able to look at somebody who's probably come through a different route. Having a doctorate in law is the same thing. So I think that might be a very good way to be able to handle that. Now, let's talk about this one aspect, man. We've been harping on this over and over and over, and we're going to segue into North Carolina Central one more time, man. We're talking about a situation where I reached out directly to Peak Sports, their representative, and his name is Cooper Walker. All right, so he's the legal representation for Ryan Holloway, who is the president of Peak Sports. And Cooper Walker is a attorney with Frost Echoes LLC out of Dallas, Texas. Okay, so basically, in my communication with him, I wanted an official statement from those guys to kind of understand how we're going to resolve this between Dr. Skip Perkins, who's the athletic director over at North Carolina Central, their administration, their board of trustees or whatever, and to be able to come to some understanding what was the inaccuracies that were pointed out by Peak Sports and how they want to correct the situation going forward, right? So if you guys don't know right now, Peak Sports is a sports sponsorship type of company where they are able to help institutions like NCCU to be able to get sponsorship deals with, let's say, well-known companies, well-known brands, or something to that nature, right? So what Peak Sports is contending, and they said the alleged inaccuracies that Dr. Skip Perkins stated to the Charlotte Post, was that, one, Peak Sports does not get 40% of everything sold. Peak Sports does not have 40% of the items that's sold by the institution. They don't get 40% there either. And they said that NCCU did not try to reach out to them numerous times to talk about the contract.
Right.
So I said, hey, what exactly has been the issue? So when Walker sent out a letter detailing some of the inaccuracies there, what he went on to say, here's what the contract does say. NCCU receives 100% of the revenue between $0 and $100,000. That's guaranteed to them each year for all the sponsorship deals that Peak Sports is able to bring to them. So Peak Sports doesn't get they don't get their revenue or any piece of this until it's between $100,000 and $275,000. So 100% of the revenue goes to Peak Sports if it's in between $100,000 and $275,000. Okay, that's a big total there, man.
Right.
All right. So I just want to be out there, right? And let's just talk about that part. All right. Then it said revenue above $275,000 is shared between the two, where 60% is going to NCCU and 40% will go to Peak Sports. The industry standard is usually 50-50, but that's to the side of NCCU. But to my understanding, NCCU has not been able to get a huge deal over that $275,000 realm at this time. I don't even think Peak Sports has gotten it over the $100,000. If I could be mistaken, I will ask for more clarification from Cooper Walker on that point. So what Mr. Walker sent to HBCU Legends was this. Peak Sports has no desire to sue North Carolina Central University. Peak Sports greatly values its relationship with North Carolina Central and looks forward to working together for many years to come. Peak Sports' only motivation in sending the letter to the Board of Trustees was to provide the truth regarding the inaccurate statements made by Dr. Perkins regarding Peak Sports. And it was addressed directly to HBCU Legends from Cooper Walker. All right, I said a mouthful there, Coach. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a very nasty situation between Peak Sports and NCCU. But, Mr. Moses, I'm going to say this, you got to be very tactful when you're doing these big corporate deals. Um, I'm not gonna say if it's a bad deal, and I'm not gonna say anything bad on Dr. Skip Perkins' part. But I will say this for future reference of the HBCUs. Anytime you're doing $1 million corporate deals, you need to have legal counsel in, so you'll know that if it's a good deal or a bad deal. Now, what's going to end up happening is, AD positions, Mr. Mosley, are probably going to be looked at like president positions and what I mean by that is the interview process. It no longer will it be a recommendation of this person or this person will move up. This is going to be a high interview type position at our schools now because of the business part of it is so heavy. And for HBCU, you got to have a CEO in that particular position. And so I think what's happening is it's going to put our presidents in a bad predicament as far as, everybody else is pretty much easy to hire. You can hire a football coach, but the AD position is going to be another corporate position now, whereas you can get that former football coach or basketball coach, kind of like what Bethune-Cookman is doing with Reggie Theus. That would no longer probably be the on the president's agenda. They're going to look at more of a corporate standard as far as AD, and definitely somebody that can deal with money, because right now it's just not working. The resources are not there for a regular type of candidate. And it has to be a special person. And so I just think, right now they're in a bad predicament that they're going to have to try to find a way out of it, Mr. Mosley, because it's not good. Because number one, they don't have the stadium. I've been to Central before. And the only probably big money game that they're going to play in is North Carolina A&T. I mean, they just don't have the Jackson State Stadium, the Southern University Stadium. They don't have that. And so to make that number, you're going to have to do corporate deals. So that's my take on it, man. I mean, it's just a bad situation.
Cole, let me just be devil advocate here. I got to be the devil's advocate about this. You got a 10-year deal, right? And
with 7 left.
With 7 left, to Dr. Perkins's defense, he's coming into this and he's having to kind of right the ship. Because if you listen to the board meeting of June 2024 from North Carolina Central, they're dealing with a lot of deficits in the athletic department, and it's not just coming directly from this deal with Peak Sports, it's coming from other areas as well. So he's kind of cleaning, I guess, the skeletons out the closet, so to speak, right?
Right.
And so right now, if we're trying to get better deals, and this is, I don't know if this is an exclusive deal that they can't go out and get another partner or whatever. That was never stated or stipulated from the letter that was given to HBCU Legends. But when Dr. Perkins said we have met with legal counsel multiple times to try to find a way to get out the contract, and the guy is not going to let us out, you can't state that. So
right.
Because Peak Sports said they only had one conversation
right
between them and Dr. Perkins, and that's when Ryan Holloway went to meet with from Peak Sports, went to NCCU to be able to meet those guys face to face. So I just think we got to be careful when you're dealing with business situations that,
Right.
especially, I don't know if it was realized that this is going to be a public forum because it is a taped forum, and it is what I think NCCU is a public school too, right? If
Right.
yeah,
It is.
So it has to be a public forum that's taped in video. So you got to watch what you say, right there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I think that's one of the issues that has to be communicated to everybody who is from a coach to administrator to whomever. When you're dealing with these type of situations, make sure you state the accurate information, because it could have gotten nasty.
Yeah,
And
it
Peak
could
Sports
have.
and Peak Sports doesn't want it to get nasty. And they're
Right,
fortunate
right.
that they don't want it to get nasty right there.
Right,
That's all I'm
right,
saying. Because
right,
they were
right.
very accommodating, man. Because, I've been on this side. I reach out to differing parties all the time. If it's not from the athletic departments or it's from legal or some sort of company or whatever. And some people don't want to talk to you. But they
Right.
were very accommodating, and they gave the backdrop, and I have to give kudos to Cooper Walker for that standpoint.
Well, here's what I would say on the North Carolina Central situation. And it's two things that they can do. The great Eddie Robinson always used to tell me from Grambling State University. He used to tell me, take advantage of your resources. Well, in North Carolina Central case, our icons in HBCU, two that I know, I'm just going to speak on two that I know, which is Penny Anthony Holloway, who's the head coach at Memphis, and then you got Shaquille O'Neal. Throughout the HBCU landscape, a lot of these universities pull to on business side. Now, they possibly can help them get out of the deal. And then you also have Michael Jordan, that's a North Carolina. He's in North Carolina guy. I'm sure they have business partners that they can reach out to. But those two names, Shaquille O'Neal and Anthony Holloway, are big in the HBCU landscape. Now, look at the route that FAMU did when they reached out to LeBron James. A lot of corporate deals came in for FAMU. They didn't make a lot of corporate mistakes now. And so you can see the athletic department trending when LeBron James got into the mix.
Well, you can say the same thing what Steph Curry did for for Howard.
Great point. Same thing Steph Curry did for Howard. Now, here's the tricky part about this. When these type of icons bail you out, they're going to want control. And so now you're in that predicament. Do I want to get bailed out? Because they possibly can. I'm not speaking for them. I know they do great business throughout the HBCU landscape. All I'm saying is, do you want to take that approach being central? But they have to take some kind of approach, Mr. Mosley, because they do not have the facilities to get themselves out of this hole. They have a lovely campus, but you got to have the facilities to get the big $1 million corporate deals, which they don't have. And that's probably why they're in panic mode, because it takes money to make money. So if you don't have that, they have a great fan base, but it's not a large fan base. I mean, can they get 20 to 30,000 every week? I mean, I don't think so. And so that's what it is, and that's probably why AD Perkins is really in panic mode right now.
Well, we shall see what's going to happen with all of that, Coach. I think right now they're fortunate.
Right.
And fortunate when I mean to the point that they didn't get a lawsuit.
Right.
That's the bottom line, man.
Well, I'm quite sure they didn't, but when you look at this deal and it's being talked about, I mean, you got to understand this. if just say for instance they make 200,000 and they have to pay out all their expenses. I mean, if it doesn't meet $100,000 from looking at what their agreement was, you still got to pay Peak Sports. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
So-
Peak Sports has to be able to bring in the sponsorships. Now,
Well, right. But they're doing more of the lead work as far as the dirty work on campus. I mean, it costs now for security. It costs for event people to work the games. So, I mean, you know, that's a tough task. If I'm Dr. Perkins, I definitely, you know, I would reach out to a couple icons that will probably help him. But like I said, once you reach out to them, they're going to want control. So it's a way to get out of it, Mr. Most. But you got to be smart and strategic with it.
all right, guys, we are got to pay a little bills here and there. It's me with Coach Daryl Steward, Kyle T. Mosley here from HBCU Legends. We will be back in 1 minute.
There was a time when summer surprised us, when galleries opened minds, adventures opened hearts, and we all remained open to whatever the day might offer. It was a time to enjoy. It was summer, this summer, at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly and savor the season. Reserve now at Biltmore.com.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
All right, Coach, we're back on the mic talking about what's happening in HBCU sports at this time. Let's talk about a couple of breaking news stories. Two HBCU athletic programs have officially been elevated to the NCAA Division II status. That's Allen University as well as Edward Waters University. Both of those guys compete in the SIAC. How big of a news is that, Coach?
It's great news. Anytime you can elevate your universities, now you're in lines with the NCAA corporate people. You know, you can get your corporate grants now, and you can hire right now. So, I mean, you know, anytime you can elevate your institution, enrollment is going to boost. And so salaries are going to boost. So, you know, it's just a great thing. And that's, I want to say this to the administrators at these two universities. Job well done. Because that's what you want to do. If you're at an institution and you feel like, hey, we should be Division II, Division I, you know you can make the move. Hey, these are the type of things that get you elevated to a big job. Same thing that you listen about with Morehouse. I just think if they elevate to the MEAC conference, it could be the same situation there. So Mr. Mosley, we have the people. It's just doing the job. And what they did was phenomenal. Let's hope the institutions can keep them, because they're going to want a salary increase behind this. This is not done every blue moon now, you know. So
What you going to say? The AD is going to say, all right now, I got y'all
Right.
to this point.
right. But phenomenal job, and hats off to the administration. And let's hope it turns out well.
All right. That's a good point, Coach.
It doesn't happen all the time, man, and you got to reward these people, man. These people are unbelievable precious. So
All right. Look, man, you got me laughing on that one. 4 schools were awarded. Let me put it like this. So the NCAA granted 4 schools, Allen University, Edward Waters, Emory, and Henry University, as well as Westmount College. All of these became Division II members after successfully completing the provisional membership process. Now get this. The provisional process had, I think it was a 2-year period, so they had to go through and meet certain criteria throughout that time point. But it's great to see like Edward Waters University, who rejoins the SIAC after being a member since 1930 to 1935. Man, that is awesome to have them to come back to that status and to have the athletic department who did a very good job. Now, last year, people don't realize this, but Edward Waters won the SIAC baseball championship. So that's a really fine job on their part. Now, the SIAC also had their media day this past week, Coach. A lot was talked about, but when it boiled down to the ADs as well as the SIDs got together and they gave their predicted order of finish for the football teams. And let's start from the bottom up out of the 13 teams. And I don't like this one. I'm going to go on record by saying this, Coach. I don't like this number 13. I think it's unfair, and it was unfair for these SIDs to put the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College at 13. That was not fair at all.
Yeah.
Well, Terrence Mathis is coming in his first season, and they don't give the Tigers much to go by on this one, Coach. What's your thoughts about that, man?
Tough for Coach Mathis. He's a legend in the Atlanta area, but I think he's going to do well. He has the resources to put that team over the 500 mark in his first year. So let's hope he's up and running and doing what he needs to do as the head coach and to get Morehouse back in the winning ways.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the SIADs and athletic directors outside of Morehouse are player haters. So I'm just going to state that for the record. Number 12 was Lane College. Then number 11, Allen. Number 10, Clark Atlanta. They also have a new football coach there. And number 9, Central State. Savannah State at 8. Kentucky State, number 7. Edward Waters 6. Now, I was surprised at this because Edward Waters last season, that they had the first winning season since 2004. They were 6-4 last season, but the Tigers did a very good job to be able to get to that point. I thought they would be very competitive this year. They had a good quarterback who had a thrilling last-second touchdown pass last year. I forgot against who. I think it was against Tuskegee. It was against Tuskegee, man.
Yeah, it was against Tuskegee.
Yeah, that was a thrilling win there. So now, Benedict, the top 5. Let's talk about these guys. Benedict at number 5. They dropped down to number 5, of course. No Chennisberry. Most of the staff left Benedict. They have a whole new coaching staff. I thought they would be a lot lower than that. Is number 5 a safe bet for those guys?
5 is safe. A lot of that was Coach Berry. I mean, people don't want to give him credit, but, they hadn't won at that particular program for a long time. A lot of that was Coach Berry. I would say 5 is a safe spot for Benedict College.
Yeah, I thought that was a very generous spot for them. Now, this one I thought was going to be a lot higher. Tuskegee at number 4. What's your thoughts there?
I mean, the Tuskegee job right now, man, it's a lot of talk in the HBCU landscape. They don't like the scheduling of it. I heard them say on the media days that it was a weak schedule. I don't know if it's because their head coach is young. But the Tuskegee situation is it's a lot of pressure on the Tuskegee head coach. I do know he has to win. The schedule is favorable, but for some strange reason, they're not getting the players like they used to get in there. And so it's just so many good teams now. You look for L Waters really to shock everybody. I think they're going to shock everybody. Then you have Miles College, along with Allen and Benedict. So, I mean, I think Tuskegee is in a great spot right now, but staffing issues is really a problem right now for Tuskegee. So,
Okay. Well, Miles was number 3. You spoke about them. And Fort Valley, number 2, and Albany State, number 1. You know, Albany State and Fort Valley has been flip-flopping number 1 for the past couple of seasons there. Miles, they came in, I think they played the championship game last year, right? Against, was it Fort Valley? No, it was Albany.
It was Albany.
It was
Coach
Albany,
Quinn,
right.
Coach Quinn Gray, high-powered
Coach
offense.
Quinn Gray, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get a look at by some of these Division I schools that are in the SWAC last season, but he didn't, and that was a shock, man. I thought at least Florida A&M would have given them a look at, but they did not. But anyway, those are the top teams in predicted order for finish by the SIAC. So that's a good one there. We're going to take a quick break against the time here with Coach Daryl Steward and myself, Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. We will be back shortly. All right, Coach, we are back on it. We're about to wrap everything up. We talked about the Florida A&M situation. We talked about the 2 schools going to Division II. We talked a little bit about the NCCU situation with Peak Sports as well. And HBCU Go just released their 26 games that's going to be on their slate of broadcast schedule. And it's some good games, in my opinion, and there are some games that most people may not be aware of. But here are my top 7 matchups for what to watch on HBCU Go for this season. Starting August 31st, Clark Atlanta against Fort Valley State. That should be a good one against those 2 programs. We just talked about Clark Atlanta trying to get back on their feet. Fort Valley has always been a powerhouse in the SIAC. Then September 7th, Tuskegee versus Grambling State. We got to mention that these 2 storied programs have not met for the first time they're meeting since 1949. Wow. And at that time, they got whooped by the Tigers, 55-0. So, Coach, that's going to be a good one just for the background for both of these long storied institutions.
Yeah, I mean, you know, anytime Tuskegee, and I think Grambling is playing them at the right time. You know, they're in transition, trying to get back at the top. Grambling is at transition, trying to get back at the top as well. So, you know, it's going to be a great matchup. I don't know, you know, I don't know if I was Tuskegee, I would play it, but, you know, it's going to be a great matchup for the fans and great TV matchup for our viewers.
Yeah. The following week, this one is going to be interesting because it's the Southern Heritage Classic, right? Tennessee State is going to be playing against Pine Bluff. That's going to be a closer game than a lot of people anticipate. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I just think Eddie George has that team on the right path right now. He's at a prime point in his career that he has to win as well. And, you know, Arkansas Pine Bluff is trying to get there. And so I think it's going to be an outstanding game. It was a close game last year, but I think Coach George has learned his lesson from it, and he's going to be up and ready to play this year.
All right, Alabama State with Andrew Body. He's going to take on Bethune-Cookman. Now, we've been talking about Bethune. They're just like Pine Bluff, not to be taken lightly this season, right?
Right.
What's your thought about that matchup?
I'm always big on the coaching part. I don't believe in moral victories or it was luck. I just think that right now, man, Alabama State is the team. And, unless something happens to Andrew Body and that high-powered offense, I mean, it's going to be a tough task for Bethune-Cookman.
All right. Bowie State plays Fayetteville. That's one to watch out. You talk about two of the program back in, I guess, over 2 years ago, going 7 years before that. But Fayetteville State used to always get whooped up by Bowie State. And Fayetteville finally, after Damon Wilson left, they took the championship this past season in the CIAA. So that's going to be a good one to see. Then you have Jackson State against Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman has 3 spots on HBCU Go this year. That's interesting for them as well. But TC Taylor, you talk that now. This is your school, man. You talk about these guys, the challenges that they're going to face. The SWAC East is wide open at this time. Do you think that's going to be one of these games that could have postseason ramifications?
Most definitely. Jackson just got out of there last year with I think it was a touchdown win, 24-17. TC Taylor did an outstanding job his first year, but at Jackson State and Southern, these schools championship or bust. And so, he has to get Jackson back to that championship mode. And I don't think they going to want another 7-4 season. And so I think he knows that. And so they've done an outstanding job recruiting. But so has Bethune-Cookman. So the Tigers have to go down to Bethune this year. And so it's going to be a great matchup for both teams.
Coach says it's win or bust. All right, Coach. I hear you. Win or bust.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these teams now, man, especially the FAMUs, the Jackson and the Southern. You look what Southern did with Coach Steward. I mean, but you listen to the athletic director and the administration talk about the reasons why these 4 schools rely on their football budget. And if it doesn't meet that certain quote, Mr. Mosley, it's going to be a long day for our head coaches.
Long day indeed, Coach. Long day. Coach was coming off the top rope on y'all on that one. Yeah. So it's about time we wrap up the program. Anybody we need to blow the whistle on this one, Coach?
Well, you got I believe it's one athletic. Well, is it 2 or 1 athletic director jobs that are open? And we talked about this on the last show. It's
I can't keep
something.
Track, man. I can't keep track.
Yeah,
is it
always
Alcorn?
something.
Alcorn, right?
Yeah, Alcorn athletic director stepped down, and we talk about it, Mr. Mosley. Can we go into the season without nothing derailing the season? And Alcorn, new head coach, has to go in only a month away from the first game and doesn't have an AD. You have to remember back in the Fred McNair days when they didn't have an AD and then they didn't have trainers. And then they had to turn around the season. I mean, it was a rough year for Alcorn. And now it looks like it's starting all back over again under a new head coach. I know Coach Thomas doesn't like what he sees. But, I mean, hey, people talk about, ADs right now, with Dr. Sykes at FAMU. I mean, she's a good candidate. Now, what I'm going to say in her defense, she has a championship under her belt that a lot of our ADs really don't have. She was the AD with Willie Simmons in that championship run. Believe it or not, that's on her resume. And so I think she stays at FAM. I think they play her contract out. unless she does something wrong. I just don't see right now where, and then that Title IX, she's a female, so you're going to have to let it play out, unless she done something wrong. We have great ADs, but, everybody now wants that championship figure, Mr. Mosley. So.
Yeah, okay. We shall see, man. We shall see. Look,
your thoughts on who I know you told me earlier who would Alcorn get, but your thoughts on who Alcorn would try to tackle for this position?
Man, let's save that to next show. We'll talk about that next.
That's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Coach Corey Thompson has been hired as the coach of Winston-Salem State Rams, I should say. And congratulations to him on getting that
right?
basketball.
Yeah. Congratulations.
And let's see, we got some HBCU Olympic hopefuls out there. A young man who's the high jumper from UAPB, Caleb Snowden. Congratulations to you for making the team. Alabama State young man came in a little short, but he was running behind Noah Lyles. He couldn't help himself on that one. Shaquille O'Neal's son, Shakir O'Neal, is going to go to the 7th Hills. He's going to go over to play for the new coach over at Florida A&M,
right.
Coach Crary. Coach Crary. So we'll see how that translates out into some wins there. He has to get back on track after 3 seasons over at Texas Southern. He remained pretty much on the bench, but we'll see what happens there. And pay attention to what's happening at Grambling State. They have one of their student athletes that's suing the NCAA because of some unfair practices in her opinion. That's very
wow. When did that come out?
Oh, that came out last week. We'll talk a little bit more of that in the next show because the rulings should be coming down pretty soon. And our hearts and prayers are out to the young men who lost their lives this past week on, I think, July 6th. Kyrie Jackson, the draftee from the Minnesota Vikings, his friend who was about to play at Bowie State, A.J. Litton, and his other friend as Isaiah, that those guys were in the car. Car lost. I don't know what happened with the other car, but that other car went directly into those guys, and they lost control, lost their lives at the same time. So prayers out to their families for this tragic situation at this time. So, but we're going to be back on track. We'll talk to you guys a little bit sooner than later about what's going to happen in the HBCU realm. There's going to be a lot more to think about and talk about, especially tonight. The HBCU baseball young men from there are quite a bit of HBCU stars that are going to be playing in the Swingman Classic in Arlington, Texas, right before the All-Star game, and that's, of course, Ken Griffey Jr. has brought that to fruition. This is the 2nd season of its kind, and some of those same young men are going to be a part of the USA Collegiate National Team. So that's kudos awesome for those HBCU players, man.
Right.
All right. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. Coach, tell everybody how they can find you on the World Wide Web.
Coach Steward at tycoonleague2@gmail.com. I was reading emails before you hit me, Mr. Mosley. I mean, just hit me and I'll answer back. I might not answer it right back, but give me at least 30 minutes and I'll answer them right back.
Tycoon. I need the tycoon.
Thanks for having me, man.
Well, it's the Coach and Mo Show. Blow your whistle and be a part of the HBCU Legends broadcast. We would love to have guests on with us if you guys would like to be a part of the broadcast or the podcast and talk with us about anything that's going on in HBCU land. We may do some live shows this coming season to be able to have some people come in. That'll be great as well. You can find us out on HBCU Legends. That's at Sports Illustrated. So you can go to hbcu.media. That'll take you directly to our Sports Illustrated site, where you will also see our podcast as well. If you'd like to just check us out directly, go to Red Circle, or you can go to Apple as well as to Google to be. That's that train coming through Baton Rouge, baby. I hear it, Coach. So we are on Apple as well, so you can check us out on iTunes as well. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. We're getting off there, train. We're getting off. You just hold your roll. All right, Coach. Have a good one, Doc.
I appreciate you, man.
All right. And guys, always be tenacious. Take care.
There was a time when summer surprised us, when galleries opened minds, adventures opened hearts, and we all remained open to whatever the day might offer. It was a time to enjoy. It was summer, this summer, at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly and savor the season. Reserve now at Biltmore.com.